Shut up and sit down.
Hello and welcome to another episode of Point Taken on the Medill Sports Talk Network. We've got a whole new squad today. I'm Alex Campbell and I'm joined by three of Medill Sports Talk's phenomenal analysts to debate all the latest topics in sports. First, we've got MST's resident national champion, Mr. Casey Bannon.
Yes, thank you, Alex. These glasses are to my eyes as what logic is to rap. They don't do anything for me, and nobody seemed to figure out they're fake yet.
Next up, we got resident movie buff, Mr. Matt Craig.
You talking to me? You talking to me? That's my best De Niro. I don't know. That's
I am talking to you. I'm going to be talking to you for the next 10 minutes or so. And finally, our resident food service employee, Mr. Doug Greenberg.
Labor Day weekend, come and get your food. I'm not telling you where I'm working.
Mission of the weekend, go find Doug. Well, guys, enough for the intros, let's get to it. We are exactly 1 month from the end of the MLB regular season, which means it is all in for teams competing for the postseason. The craziest race looks to be for the NL Wildcard, where there are 6 teams, the Cardinals, Brewers, Diamondbacks, Rockies, Dodgers, and Phillies, all within 3.5 games of one another, competing for those 2 spots. Casey, I want to start with you. Of that group, who do you see making the cut come October?
Alex, I stopped trying to predict baseball years ago. It's kind of like trying to explain Bitcoin to an Amish person, okay? But if you start to look at baseball as one giant game, 162 games as one giant game, then run plus or minus becomes your best indicator to weed out the pretenders. The Colorado Rockies are minus 12 on the year. They're a game back of the final wild card spot. The Dodgers, Matt Craig's team, is plus 127 on the year. They're a game and a half back. So as the Reverend Jackson once said, give it 162 and you shall see the truth.
Well, Matt, Casey's looking at the numbers. What do you think? Your Dodgers getting in this postseason?
The Dodgers don't need the wild card because they're going to win their division. They're only a half game back of the Arizona Diamondbacks right now. And ever since the lights went out in the 12th inning against the Padres, they're 4-0. And Justin Turner looks like Mickey Mantle reincarnated. The Dodgers do not need the wild card. The best team in the wild card race right now is the St. Louis Cardinals. We know pitching gets it done. In October, they have an amazing bullpen. And now Adam Wainwright might move back in the starting rotation. He hasn't really found his form yet. The Cardinals look strong, and then it's going to be the Diamondbacks because the Dodgers are winning their division.
And Doug, what are we thinking here? The Brewers are in a spot right now. You got them sticking in there?
Well, yeah, I actually love the Brewers in this spot. And you know what? To Matt's point, I think the Diamondbacks are going to win the NL West. I don't think they need that wild card spot. But yes, if we're going to talk about some of the wild card spots here, I love the Milwaukee Brewers. Christian Yelich hit a cycle last night, went 6 for 6. I think he had 2 home runs in that game. He's absolutely on fire. They have really revamped this lineup. And their pitching has not been the strongest throughout the year, but I really believe that down the stretch they're going to be able to take it to the next level. Really look for the folks down in Milwaukee to really make a run here once we get into the wild card race.
The final score to that game last night was 13-12. Christian Yelich goes 6 for 6, and they still almost lose the game. And that was against the Cincinnati Reds.
Doug, is there anything from Wisconsin you don't like?
Some of the IPAs, but not a ton.
Oh, fair enough. Well, Casey, I'm loving your going to the stats there, loving pulling the numbers. So Casey's going to get 2 points this round, and Matt, purely for the confidence in his team, is going to get 1 as well.
And nobody looks like Justin Turner, by the way. He does not look like Mickey Mantle's prime. He looks like nothing I've ever seen before.
Looks like a Muppet.
So moving on, we got Casey 2, Matt 1, Doug still in the goose egg, but plenty of chance to catch up on our next topic. We're going to move on to the NFL, which is just a couple weeks away from officially being back. Aaron Rodgers just became the highest paid quarterback in history by agreeing to a 4-year contract extension with the Packers worth $134 million. It's got over $100 million in guaranteed money, and he's going to get 80 of that by next March. This comes on the heels of Odell Beckham Jr. signing a huge 5-year, $95 million deal with the Giants. Matt, are these guys worth all this money, and who do you think should be the next in the NFL to receive a big payday like this?
Yes, these guys are worth the money. Everyone in this panel is probably going to say Aaron Donald. Everyone in the NFL media is talking about Aaron Donald, Aaron Donald. Let me ask you something. If you're a casual NFL fan who plays fantasy football, do you even know who Aaron Donald is? No, the quarterback is the most valuable position, and these guys love seeing him slinging around. That's why it's going to be Teddy Bridgewater. He's only making $6 million this year, And he's kind of doing what DeMarcus Cousins is doing in the NBA, joining the Warriors. He's attaching himself to a stable, successful team. He's getting healthy after surgery, and then he's going to cash in and get a starting position next year. If Case Keenum can make 3 times as much money as Teddy Bridgewater, then I don't know what to say.
The difference is that DeMarcus Cousins chose to go to the Warriors and Teddy Bridgewater didn't. But I'm going to take it a step further, okay? Not only is Aaron Rodgers worth that money, that's about half of what he's worth. Aaron Rodgers should be getting paid half of every assistant coach for the Packers salary, half of every front office executive for the Packers salary, and he should be making 90%, taking 90% of Mike McCarthy's salary because they failed him in the draft room, in free agency, in the X's and O's, in the film room, and on the field. There were times last year when Aaron Rodgers was drawing up plays on his chest like he was playing mystery box in 5th grade. And no, don't put words in my mouth. I was not going to say Aaron Donald. I was going to say Julio Jones because Matt Ryan is a bum without him. So thank you for trying to predict what I was going to say.
Doug, you love everything.
You can never get inside my head.
Yeah, Doug, you love everything about the state of Wisconsin. What are your thoughts on this new contract for Aaron Rodgers?
Well, you know what? It's 100% deserved. You know why? Because this is a free market we're talking about. If you want to be libertarian, I'll be a libertarian for you. This is a free market. The market determined that Aaron Rodgers was worth this much money, and by golly, he is worth this much money. He is one of the best quarterbacks in the league, arguably the most talented quarterback in the league. There's absolutely no question he deserves it. In terms of the next contract, this is going to be a little bit a little bit out there because I think he needs to prove it this year on the field, but I'm going to go with Marcus Mariota. Marcus Mariota has been trending up every single season since he was drafted, which, by the way, was a number 2 overall pick, so he's got that stock going for him. And I think that if he makes that next step this year with a totally revamped Titans offense that is expected to do some really great things with some gorgeous new dark blue helmets, I think that Marcus Mariota is going to be getting some big money when his contract.
It's not a free market, by the way, Doug. As long as there's a salary cap, it's not a free market.
And how long are we going to keep making excuses for Marcus Mariota with his scheme? It's exotic smash mouth. Oh no, actually no. Now we're going to run the spread. At some point, he has to complete the passes. He does
complete passes.
Be accurate.
He does. He fits balls into windows that like 3 other guys in the league can do. This new scheme is completely going to open it up. I think. Who do you have? Todd Haley. Somebody help me out. Was it Todd Haley?
Yes.
Okay. Well, habitual offensive ruiner, habitual quarterback ruiner. Ben Roethlisberger can't stand him. He said it publicly, and as you've seen on Hard Knocks, he's going to end up ruining 2 quarterbacks' careers.
I think I'd rather have Teddy Bridgewater right now.
This guy and Teddy Bridgewater.
So looking at that round, Matt, I'm really loving that first point you made. Matt talked about how quarterbacks are the most important position. The 17 top paid players in the NFL right now, all QBs. Von Miller comes at number 18. Matt's going to get the 2 points this round. Doug, you're going to get a point as well for bringing up Marcus Mariota. He's coming into a big year here, and Casey backed you up on that. So Doug getting points there. So after 2 rounds, we got Casey with 2, Matt with 3, Doug with 1. One last round before we get to the showdown, and that's going to be the other football, college football. This weekend is week 1 across the nation, which means that we recently got the first edition of the AP Top 25 poll. It's entirely based on speculation as to what's going to happen over the next 5 months. So, looking at the rankings, Doug, who do you think is way overrated and who might not be getting enough respect on this list?
Well, I talked about it a little bit in MST a little bit earlier. I think that Washington, they're getting a little bit too much love for playing in a weak conference. But really, my overrated team is the University of Texas. What has Tom Herman done with this program yet? What have they done in the last few years to even deserve a ranking? All they've done is have totally mediocre records, playing some of the not really great competition. They've made totally mediocre progress in their bowl games. The University of Texas does not deserve a ranking, and yet here we are because they're a historical program. I just don't see it, and I don't think that they should even be in the AP Top 25.
They're ranked at the bottom of the top 25 simply on recruiting. It's not like they put them up there in the top 10, and this is egregious. Okay.
Wait till they do something with it.
If anything, okay, just like one of their famous alumni, Doug Greenberg, I don't trust Wisconsin. Okay, they've been around since America was conceived, and they've had a football team before football was conceived, and yet I have more national championship rings with them. That's a fact, okay? If you want to look at a team that's ready to surprise people, go back to the U, okay? They have a very capable backup in N'Kosi Perry, who's ready to take over at any time Malik Rozier's not getting the job done. They go on the road to LSU to start the season, a trash LSU team. They beat them. All they have to do is beat a weak Florida State team at home and then go on the road and beat Blacksburg in November, and they're in the college football playoffs.
Guys, can we just drop the act? Okay.
No.
The most overrated thing about college football is the playoff system. Can someone explain to me why there's 4 teams when there's 5 power conferences, and 2 of those spots are automatically going to be Alabama and Clemson every single year? I mean, I don't want to go all 1860, but the South needs to just go ahead and secede from the NCAA. You throw in Florida State from Florida, you throw in Clemson, then you get the Texas and Oklahoma schools from the Big 12, and now you make it a for-profit league, and suddenly all your problems are solved. You have a real playoff system, you have 30 hyper-competitive teams, and every game is going to sell out. I mean, there's your solution right there.
I think Matt, just to explain to him, he asked, can somebody explain or drop the act? By definition, the NCAA has to have something that doesn't make sense at all times. So that's why we still have the playoffs. It's a fair point.
Well, it was a tremendous cop-out, though.
Thank you.
So, hey, looking at that round, Matt, I really love the direction you went there, kind of going off script a bit and being original. So Matt's going to get the points for this round, booking his place in the showdown. Casey, I'm going to send you on through as well, as, thrown out there about, I really like your point. I'm struggling to remember what it was right now, but I know
Thank you, Alex.
Hey, it was really good then. You should definitely pick him. I told myself that I liked it. Doug, I'm sorry, I'm just drawing a blank here. Well, unfortunately,
that's what Doug does to you.
There you go.
Yeah, no, that's on me for dropping the ball there. Oh, there's the paper toss. Well, that brings us to the part of the show where unfortunately we've got to say goodbye to Doug. Looking up at the scores.
Fortunately,
Doug, you came up just short today. Time to say goodbye. But hey, we will see you next time on Point Taken.
Look for the Badgers, man. They're going to kill them tomorrow night.
Go Horns. Go Tech. Go Longhorns.
And I actually just remembered it was Casey's point about having more national championship rings, which brings him into the showdown against Mr. Matt Craig. Our topic today is tennis's final major of the year, the U.S. Open, where Friday night, American sports' favorite sisters will again be taking center stage. It will be the 30th time that Serena and Venus Williams have faced off against each other, this time under the bright lights of Arthur Ashe Stadium. So Matt and Casey, is this the best friendly rivalry in all of sports, and is this going to be our last chance to see these two legends of the game go head-to-head?
This is a great rivalry, but the best friendly rivalry of all time, in my opinion, is Tiger Woods and Phil Mickelson. I mean, you're talking about an event going on Thanksgiving weekend that will be the most watched golf event of the year, more than the major championships, possibly the most watched golf event in a decade, and that's a 48-year-old Phil Mickelson and a 42-year-old Tiger Woods. It reminds me of the Mayweather-Pacquiao fight where they're both kind of past their prime, but we want to see it so badly that it's worth it, and it's a friendly event because the winner's taking home $10 million, and that is pocket change to both of these guys. I don't think there's any bad blood. They have 19 major championships between them. No bad blood there. It's a friendly rivalry.
Yes, paying someone $10 million seems awfully friendly. Alex, with all due respect, I think the question's flawed because the phrase, what'd you say, friendly rivalry, blatantly contradicts each other, the first to the second word. And also, the term rivalry implies that there is some sort of competitiveness in it. And since 2009, there hasn't been in Serena and Venus. Serena's taken 8 out of the last 10. As far as a friendly rivalry, if I have to answer the question, which I do, anytime Russell Westbrook and Kevin Durant play each other, I am going to the TV, okay? I've even watched it in loud nightclubs, doctor's offices, wherever I am, I have to see this. Friendly-wise, they've pieced it up at all-star breaks and Olympic teams, but there's just enough smoke there that you kind of watch with a cringe on your face as they go from handshakes to headbutts.
Kevin Durant is very insecure, and I think that's the only PR papering over that we've seen. There's nothing friendly about that rivalry whatsoever. Serena and Venus, they're sisters, okay? They have to get along. Russell Westbrook
They don't have to get along. Ask me and my sisters.
Russell Westbrook and Kevin Durant on the court, when the emotions are flying high, they're getting in each other's faces. They're pushing and shoving.
Yes.
I love that rivalry.
Hence the rivalry part. The rivalry part. Where is the rivalry part in Serena and Venus?
It's a friendly rivalry.
But where's the rivalry aspect? It's competition. Well, hey, that's the definition.
Casey's got a good point.
I'm answering the man's
So all
question.
time, Serena leads Venus 17-12 in head-to-head matchups.
The last 10 years, though, Alex.
And she's 10-5 against her in majors, which is why the points and the FaceTime and the win today are going to Mr. Casey Bannon. Casey, take your 30 seconds of FaceTime.
Alex, it's absolutely unbelievable to be in this position, and to be totally honest, I did not know that there was a FaceTime portion of this show. So I will concede it back to you, and I'd also like to thank everyone here at Northwestern for making my quarter extremely enjoyable, unbelievably sleepless, and filled with depression and hunger.
That is a relief. The quarter is over, which is why it's going to be a few weeks before you see any of us back here on Point Taken, and that is going to do it for this episode. Thanks so much to Casey, Matt, Drake, and our whole production crew for making this possible. A special thanks today to our graduating hosts, analysts, and crew. Congrats to all you guys. Best in the future as you take the sports media world by storm. For the rest of us, we'll be back in a few weeks with plenty more Medill sports talk and Point Taken. Until then, I'm Alex Campbell. Thanks as always so much for tuning in, and we'll see you next time.